you ready?
I'm
Hope
ready.
you are, because I already pushed it.
Oh noes!
I've already pushed it.
Oh noes!
I pushed a button.
No!
It's probably going to play back now because I have to wait for it to start so that I can mute it, because I can't mute it while I'm waiting. But anyway.
Is the volume going to be cranked on that?
Huh?
Is the volume going to be cranked on that?
What?
I don't know.
Oh.
You understand? This was a... There it goes. And I muted it. Okay, cool. Didn't even hear it. I'm going to go ahead and roll that intro. Take it away, Jerry.
Sup, this is Tech Talk 101, playing on Jay's channel, not my channel. Lols. Rafflecopter. WTF barbecue. Raffle mount.
You looked confused. You're like, wait, I don't hear anything. You
Yeah.
can't hear it when it plays, but the audience can. It's really weird. Yeah, trust me. Anyway, hey, what's up, guys? Tech Talk number 101, right? That's right, 101, right? Because last week you got number 100.
We are in the triple digits.
We
We did it. This is some kind of crazy accomplishment.
I know, and someday we might catch up to PKA in like the 300s.
I think we do all right for the incredibly random format that we have here.
That's what we like, though. That's why this show is pretty much at this point crowdsourced, I guess you could say, because that donation button pops up without we have no control over it. That's why there's no ads or advertisements like threaded into this. There might be later on, but who knows? We just like having fun. We like having fun,
Yeah.
you guys. I haven't even tweeted out my own stream. Is that bad? That's
Yes.
bad. I'm terrible.
Yeah, I actually think when Tech Talk first started out, I'm wondering why I can't hear myself here. Ah, much better. I had my mixer board muted. No,
I can't mute myself. I can't.
I think
was
when I
asking him
first
earlier.
when I first came into Tech Talk, I remember that this actually was a pretty technical show. Like usually we'd have a guest on, we'd have topics, and somehow I managed to single-handedly de-evolve the show to what it is today, which is
de-evolve.
just completely unprepared banter for an hour and a half.
What
it.
you don't understand is I wanted nothing more than that when I started. But then it got to the point to where the more it de-evolved, the more I was just like, this was my vision. We will start high, and then we will over time degrade the show's quality to the point to where all we're left with are those people that were like, I don't give a shit. They're probably getting shit-faced drunk right now just watching, and they have no expectations. See, the thing is, when you start really low, people over time expect the quality to improve. So when you go against the grain and you just keep getting shittier and shittier every week, then you're left with nothing but people who like watching shitty content, which is perfect for both of us. So
People that watch shitty content are like a staple, man.
You're
That's
going
like
step down when you got me on here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I texted Nick earlier. I was like, "Hey, do you want to come on Tech Talk with me?" And he's like, "Okay." Well, he was here when Josh was here, Jerry. That week you were out for Star Wars.
Yeah.
But because we couldn't sit three abreast here, he was kind of sitting behind us with the laptop. So it turned more into who's the awkward black guy in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the real reason why he's on is because we actually got an affirmative action notice from YouTube, and we figured that we could kill two birds with one stone since he's like part Indian and he's part black. So it's like we're covered.
So really, there's four ethnicities here, and
it's like
50% of a three-man show.
And we don't have to worry about a wider angle lens to get more people on camera. It's perfect.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
It's absolutely perfect.
Plus, I have a feeling we might be doing some Xbox and chill later. I don't know. I don't really know.
Since we got Coconut Monkey on the show, we are going to have to talk a little bit about paintball. You realize that, right?
No, that's fine.
It's got to happen.
I think you were listening last week when we were talking about it. Yeah, because that's right. You were texting me about some of the stupid January 1st laws regarding airsoft stuff. Yeah.
Airsoft is killing the industry of paintball. No.
Someone said breast. All right, guys. Well, I put it in the description. Every single week we're asked, how do you donate? How do you donate? You have to go to the gaming.youtube.com link. It's in the description. It even tells you what to click on. I don't think anyone in any country can donate. It's really strict. But we have no control over that button. We can't even turn it off if we want to. So if you donate...
But we don't want to because of sellout, cash money, dollar bill, y'all.
I'd rather sell out to my audience than to shill.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Anyway, you have a much better chance of getting your comment read. We do the best we can, but you gotta understand, hundreds of single donations come in sometimes, like dollar donations back to back to back to back, and we do the best we can to read them. But YouTube doesn't even give us a real method of reading those comments. They just kind of disappear, and then we get this little thing on the side that's like, oh, here's this 1 inch by 2 inch box that you can scroll through that doesn't keep an actual tally. So if we miss it, it's not on purpose, I promise.
Yeah, they got a little ways to go with the whole interface thing here, but I like the gaming YouTube interface though because it's definitely more Twitch-ish, like live streaming.
Well, I just like that the comments bar is the length of the window.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can
actually,
see
you know
that.
what? We totally forgot to congratulate Jay on
Oh, yeah.
500,000
You really
subscribers.
love me.
Jay finally popped the half-mil cherry.
Hey,
He is
508, almost 9,000 now. Thank you very much.
he's climbing on me
Wow.
fast too because my growth has slowed down to just about nothing, mainly because I just don't make videos anymore. Don't worry, I'm gonna change that at some point. Just I've got to let gout foot cure itself.
Just do a video about gout.
Yeah.
I just do a video.
Just do a gout vlog.
Let's see. How can
A
we do
gout vlog.
technology on uric acid in my foot?
It
can be done.
Sounds gross, actually.
So I have tech talk hashtag tech talk topics up, which I went ahead and crowdsourced some topics in case we want to talk about those.
Wait, is
And
that a new
also,
is that a new hashtag you
that's a
made?
new one. I just
Oh.
created a new one, dude.
But-
Just pulled that right out of the internet.
So are you going to be checking both? Because the old
Yeah.
school viewers know to go to Ask Tech Talk.
No, Ask Tech Talk is for questions that they want us to answer. Tech Talk Topics is for stuff that they want in-depth coverage.
See, this is why it takes Jerry and I to create one human brain.
Yeah, and we
together
literally just magically do things. Like, we don't even consult each other on such matters. It just happens.
Like I could pull this rabbit right out of Nick's.
And I'm sorry if
where?
I seem a little bit out of it, guys. I actually am on pain medication for my freaking club foot here. And it allowed me to climb up the stairs, but I am actually very, very, like, drowsy.
You just need to install one of those little chair lifts.
I want one of those, but I'm afraid that the motor would just go, "Mrrr," and then it'd make that burning smell like when you run a drill too long.
or like Josh's go-kart the other night.
Oh, yeah.
When we went to K1, one of our buddy was with us, and his go-kart he got one race was way faster than the whole crowd. The entire field was slower
Yeah.
than this car, but every time he passed you, you smelled like electrical burning motor smell. So I don't think
Yeah.
the governor was working on that car.
I have a DeWalt drill that I bought. You know, DeWalt tools are actually, I think they're fairly high end, aren't they? Right? Like
Yeah,
in the
they-
spectrum of cordless
yeah.
tools,
Yeah, they're
pretty high.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the DeWalt tool set, and there's 2 screwdrivers in it. There's one that's like the hammer driver, the big one, and there's like a little one that just is for like screws and stuff. It's not a drill. And that one, for some reason, every time, even if I pull the trigger for like half a second, the whole room just smells like burnt plastic.
Yeah, my DeWalt. I had a DeWalt 9.6 volt, not a 12 volt or an 18 volt, but I had a small 9.6 volt I used to use when I did car stereo installs.
Yep.
And it was the same way. Like the exhaust port on that for the motor exhaust.
Yeah.
It just was very electrical burny smell.
I didn't get that because none of the other tools smell that way. So I thought that maybe like the brushes were tight on the motor or something. So I ran a whole battery through it, taped down the trigger, and let the whole battery go for like 15, 20 minutes. And it still smells like burning. And now the garage will always smell like burnt wire because it like seeped into the walls and everything. But I was kind of surprised.
That electrical burning smell is unmistakable. It is such a unique smell.
And it sticks with you too. Like
Yeah.
you can literally like take a smell of it and then you smell it throughout the whole day. Like it sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sticks on.
Anyway, I see people saying that the stream is lagging. It's going for me. It's going for me just fine.
Yeah, I don't see any problem.
It is going up at 4,000 KB bit or KBS rate right now. Well, that's because it's going at 60 FPS at 1080p.
Oh, you're doing a 60 FPS stream here? I didn't even see that option. Hold on.
Yeah, with 30 FPS webcam.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Wow.
What I
wanna
love,
see
what I
this.
love,
Can't beat that.
what I love is when it's a
That
30
looks cool.
it's a 30 FPS webcam.
but we're doing a 60
But we're
frames.
doing a 60 frames per second stream, and then when I started clicking that button on the live stream options,
Yeah.
the amount of people that were like, "Wow, this 60 FPS is so smooth." It's like, but you're still seeing a 30 FPS encoded. You know, at 60 FPS, it's not adding frames. It's not like that interpolation on TV. It's that placebo effect. It's truly that placebo effect. The transitions are super smooth. We'll do that. How's that? Anyway, there's one topic I wanted to mention. If you guys follow on Twitter, you saw I did a tweet. I believe it was yesterday. I want to say, on the heels of the Mayhems thing, that was the big deal about that was poor customer service, right? How you don't treat your customers. On the flip side, I want to give a huge pat on the back to EK because I had a conversation with them about this recall that they're going through after they had already put up their public notice, and I told everyone, hey, go look at this recall notice about the Predator coolers. These guys this is not a cheap recall. So if you guys have the version 1 of the Predator 240 or 360 with the quick disconnects, and the way you can tell if you have V1 versus V2 is V1 had the non-removable screws on the block. V2 has the removable screws because of me drilling through the motherboard and politely asking them to kind of revamp the way this mounts so you don't have to have as much compatibility issue as they do.
Oh, is that why they chose that point to poke at you specifically? Was because of that?
No,
The
no,
drilling through the okay.
no, I left that in obviously because I thought it was a funny, stupid mistake that I made. But I told them right off the bat, I said, not all motherboards for X99 are going to be compatible with this screw. So they looked at that and said, okay, we are going to come out with a V2 which is basically the same mounting mechanism they have on their standalone blocks. So if you have that mechanism where the screws come off the block, you have the V2, and you shouldn't. I don't think you're affected by this, but they might have made this a complete product recall. Check their website. What happened is that the O-ring that they put in the block,
Okay.
which it's no different than any other block they have, a standalone block, they use it in the Predator. Their Supremacy EX block, I think it is. Anyway, or DX block, something like that. The O-ring that holds the top to the base is faulty. And so the leak can potentially happen at your CPU block, which can damage your motherboard, CPU, graphics card, or all three. So they put out a massive recall on all of the products, giving the person, and this is all listed on their website too, giving the full history of the recall, how they thought it was initially only affecting a certain amount of units, but now they realize it's affecting all of them. And it's I don't want to say mandatory recall, but you might want to go ahead and take advantage of this, where they will give you the option to get a replacement unit or a full refund for the kit. So your keyboard is very loud.
Sorry. I
So
apologize.
they can give you they'll give you either a full refund or a replacement unit, and they're taking a huge hit on this because they sold a ton. So can you imagine having to go back and replace all of those units, retool, remanufacture all of them? They're taking a huge financial hit for this, but they're doing the right thing.
Oh yeah, the tool up something like a simple tooling is like $10,000.
Yeah, some people are
And
saying,
that's yeah.
some folks, Charles Nix is saying in chat, it is a complete recall. Yeah, so if you have a Predator unit, I have both, the 240 and the 360, both of them have to go back. Yeah, complete recall, you can get a replacement unit or a total refund. Now, I've seen some folks congratulate them, which is what you should do. I've seen some folks bitch and complain that they have to send the unit back before getting the new one. Now, you got to understand, they got to make sure that they get this unit back because they're also going to disassemble these units and they're going to refurbish them and resend those out as well as, I believe, refurbed units. I could be wrong. But they need to make sure that they're not sending out second units to people and not getting these other units back that they can refurb. So having to send your unit back, I also feel is acceptable. Now, it probably sucks that maybe the only cooler you have and you're down, and I'm sure they understand that, but I still think what EK is doing, obviously, is the right thing. They're not trying to sugarcoat it. They're fully transparent, and they're taking all financial responsibility of these failures, including the parts. There's some folks that have had damage to their CPUs, motherboards, and graphics cards, and EK is also covering the damage to those that is due to the faulty leaking units. So, I mean, that's huge. If you've had a motherboard go bad and take out a CPU, or a CPU go bad and take out a motherboard, you know Intel is not going to buy you a new motherboard. And you know MSI or Gigabyte or whatever, they're not going to buy you another CPU if one takes out the other. So I think what they're doing is a huge thing.
Are they a publicly traded company? Like, can you see what their revenue is and everything?
I don't think so. Jameson Sullivan in chat, Yo, Jay, it's just the R1. No, what they said in their press release was that they thought it was only the R1. Jerry, do me a favor, pull that up if you can on the ekwb.com website. But I'm fairly certain that what I read said that they thought it was only affecting V1 or the revision 1, but now they're believing it's all units and that all units should be inspected.
Okay, so the important notice that was released January 13th, EK Water Blocks is regret. Oh, darn it. It just went off the screen as I was doing it here.
Oh, recall's over, guys.
Yeah, no, literally. It was like on the screen and then it just like disappeared. Here, how do I go back? View all news. There we go. Hold on. Processing. Here it is. Important notice from EK. EK Water Blocks regrettably informing the public and its own customers that the EK-XLC Predator 240 and 360 are pre-filled and pre-assembled all-in-one AIO CPU liquid cooling units have been completely recalled from the market due to potential risk of leakage of liquid from the unit.
Yeah, so it's a complete recall, not just the V1. If you read the full article on their website, guys, you'll see they thought it was limited to V1. but that it turns out that V2 was affected too. I saw someone in chat ask, why don't they just send out the replacement parts? Wouldn't that be cheaper? No, because then they have to rely on the end user to disassemble the unit and hopefully put it back together right. And then if it still leaks after they maybe assembled it wrong, then you're going to expect EK to replace parts that may get damaged because you didn't put it together properly. Going through the manufacturer for the recall is the right and only way to do this. So anyway, I just wanted to say, hey, I thought that was pretty unprecedented. Not many companies will put out a huge press release like that to say, we will cover all damage to your units as well as your computer if you have the faulty unit. So that's a big deal.
Yep.
Gotcha.
If you guys have a hard time hearing Coconut Monkey, he's very soft-spoken.
He is a quiet guy.
He is very soft-spoken, and I have the mic more in front of him, as you can see.
Yeah, it's right here.
And it's still like, Jerry and I are like, bam, 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 and over here it's like, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
You should have your mixer board set up so like whenever he's
Little
getting ready to
supercharger.
talk, just jam the gain like through the roof. So the background noise is like, but then he sounds about the same level.
What I really should have done is actually taken my lavalier mic, clipped it to him, and then hooked the wireless up to the mixer, and then turned his gain all the way up. That's what I should have done.
Mm-hmm.
I should have brought my headset because it's wireless. Just sit
Because
on it.
what? I can't hear you.
I
I can even hear him through that, and I still can't hear.
I
He's
should have brought my headset because there's wireless. What?
What?
Oh god.
Look, can you not hear me?
No, he could hear
I'm
me.
making fun of him
Yeah.
because he's not projecting. He's
Project.
projecting.
Show us your projecting skills here. Hey, Coconut Monkey, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, Jerry. How are
There
you?
we go. There we go. All right, I heard that.
But he already
Okay.
dialed it back. He just dialed it back in his laugh. He's like,
Yeah, I auto-toned down.
he auto-tones.
You got auto
he's like what Skype does to your system when you get a call. How it mutes all the sounds.
He's human auto gain.
Right?
It's like when you open up Skype and it like sets all the volumes and everything in the background like 20%. You're like, damn it, I'm trying to play a video game. Stop doing that.
I don't think I've ever heard this guy yell.
Really?
If he ever had kids, he's screwed because he lacks the dad voice. You know the dad voice, Jerry.
Oh, but the dad voice can be developed. Like
I don't know.
I didn't even really have the dad tone. Like I had the volume, but I didn't have the dad tone until Xander came along, and I developed the dad tone. It took like several
You
years.
yell at sweet little Xander?
I do, unfortunately. I am a horrible, horrible man, and I feel bad. But sometimes I do have to yell at him, yes.
Hashtag Jerry's a dick dad.
Yep. The other
Ouch.
day, he stomped in a mud puddle when we told him not to. He went to school and did it again, and I gave him one final warning. And then I had to yell at him, take his Hot Wheel away, and put it into car jail. I know, it's horrible. I took his favorite Hot Wheel and put it underneath a glass vase on the table and told him that was car jail. And because he didn't listen 3 times in a row, it had to stay in car jail for 48 hours. So he just sat there and stared at
48
it.
hours?
48 hours, I know.
God, even the police don't take
Yeah.
cars that long.
They don't, like, seriously. You steal a car and you get out of jail faster than that.
Is
But
it
I had to make it clear that he could not repeat the offense. And so far, it's been highly successful. He got his car back and he hasn't been jumping in mud puddles anymore.
Have you given him the fees for the impound yet, or no?
Not yet. I figured what I'd do is I'd calculate those and then send them out with a quarterly statement and
yeah.
issue them like, an official invoice number and everything like that. And then, maybe some payment methods with some fees and stuff attached.
Yeah.
If you guys just heard your system sounds going boing, boing, that was me. Sorry. My bad.
Not it. I didn't do it this time.
Well, like last week, Jerry had his Steam up, and he was like, bloop, bloop, bloop,
Yeah,
bloop,
ding,
bloop,
ding,
bloop,
ding,
bloop.
ding,
yeah,
ding,
huh?
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I have all notification sounds on everything off. That's why sometimes people will be tweeting at me, or not tweeting, tweeting, Facebooking, or Skyping at me, and I'm not answering because I don't hear it, and it's muted, and it's minimized. So what kind of car was it? What car did you take away?
It was. He refers to it as the blue car with white wheels. And he calls
sounds
he
very
call-
JDM.
Yes, it's very JDM, and it's open wheels in the front, so it's kind of like that whole Chrysler Prowler thing.
So was it? It was like a Prowler. It was like a
Yep, and he calls it a Camaro, but he calls almost
You have
all
failed.
of his cars Camaros.
You have failed.
So is it built for drift?
I think the old redneck is showing through in the bloodline. Like, even though Xander's never experienced that growing up like I did, I think it's in his blood. Like, I didn't tell him anything about Camaros, and suddenly that's like one of his favorite cars. Camaros, Corvettes. He loves Corvettes. A Nissan GTR, though. I got to give the kid good taste. He has a silver Nissan GTR Hot Wheel, and he thinks that's the fastest car in the world.
Well,
Which is
I think
a bunch of other kids.
Yeah, including adult kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like a GTR, dude. I'd throw my STI in the garbage and set it on fire
People
if I
give
could
me
get
a hard
GTR.
time all the time when I say publicly, when I show a picture of my Z, they're like, GTRs are better. I don't like the style of the R35 at all. R34
Yeah, but if
and
you,
older,
if you drove
I
one,
agree with you on
if you
that.
drove one, you would just get over that in like 10 seconds, take your 370Z and like run it in the side of a building at 100 miles an hour, and then laughing at your GTR and drive away.
That's hard because like you don't like in the newer stuff you have all the electronic stuff, but like say the R34, it's like you kind of feel it more, you know.
Oh, don't get me wrong. The R34 is like my hero car. Like out of all the cars out there, I would say the R34, without like listing like Lamborghini or something stupid, right? Like really expensive.
Yeah.
I would say that the R34 would be my number one pick for like obtainable car, right? Because you can get an R34. I don't think they're legal yet in the States. The R32s
couple
are.
more
The
years.
34s are
they
coming
have
up.
to be 20,
25 years.
25.
I think
But
it's
once the time comes along, I'd imagine you could probably pick one up for $20,000 to $30,000. Once they're legal and you don't have to do all that import and kit stuff where you disassemble the whole car and put it back together and then get a kit license for it. Have you seen the guys that do that?
Yeah.
Like you can actually get an R34 legal. It just costs you like $60,000 because
I've
you have
seen
to
them go
import it
higher.
as parts. Yeah, but you have to import them as parts, have a shop assemble them, and you have to have a bill of sale that shows that it was received as parts. And then once the car is assembled, you basically get like a salvage title or something for the car, and then you register it as a kit. And there's only so many kit cars, and like in Washington State, there's only so many kit cars a year, licenses that are allowed. So you have to get on a waiting list.
Huh.
But
Doesn't
as
sound
long
worth
as
it.
you assemble the car from parts, you can make it legal. But still, you'd probably get pulled over by every freaking cop, being like, "Hey, what's going on, dude?" And then you probably got to show them your freaking paperwork showing that it's a kit car. But the license plate will say on it, it's like collector. It'll say collector or something on I forget what it says on the license plate if it's a kit car. I think it's like collector, and then you have a number on it or something like that. And you can only drive. There's like weird rules, like you can only drive the car like 5,000 miles a year or something like that. But it's stupid cheap to insure. That's the only cool benefit to like getting the kit license. Like Ariel Adams, you know those cars, right?
Yeah.
So the Ariel Atom in Washington State, if you order it pre-assembled, you can't make it street legal. You have to actually order it as parts, have it assembled by a shop, and then get a kit car license for it, and then it's street legal.
What is so illegal about the Skyline? Is there no emissions on it?
Emissions.
Yeah, the Skyline has there's no emissions on it, and apparently it's like a huge emission, like the 3 liter inline 3 liter or something. I mean, it just pumps out smog. It's like Smogosaurus Rex.
All right, so I'm gonna read through some of the donation comments here. I do not understand the first one here by Bennett Sampson. How dareth thou be so petulant?
He's
Jordan?
posted that quite a few times. I saw that.
Dost not the disgraces of thou fatherland not brandeth thou like cattle at Jordan?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, amuse me. Before
My
I behead you, I
redneck
guess.
brain cannot
Yeah.
process that.
Hey Jay, C Girl says, "Hey Jay, Coconut Monkey and Jerry, giving what I can afford tonight. Love you guys. Don't ever change. We can't change. We can't afford the clothes."
Yeah.
We
okay,
can't.
Barrett
Clothes
has-
is so expensive.
Menson One says, "When you get the show 200, get in the marching band and some dancing girls." Yeah, because we should get like a 20-piece brass band in here in
Or
this
just
one.
like a jazz
In your
band.
little room there? Oh,
Shove it
that'd
in the
be
back corner.
epic. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm seeing some $10 donations and $1 donations and $5 that don't have any names, so thank you to those people.
Wow,
Those
Jay's eating steak tonight.
Well, someone owes me what, $85 tonight? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, where's the dude with $85?
The Element Maker says, "Great job, Jay, at 508,422K. That's what, 5 million? 508,422K is how many million? 500 million?
A lot. Oh, I just got a clarification from my friend Kevlar Condom. He said the Atom actually, to get it legal in Washington, you just have to attach the mirrors. Literally, you just have to. Because he said he was thinking about getting one, but he ultimately got the Tesla P85D. But yeah, apparently you can just buy the thing assembled and just put the mirrors on it, and you're done.
Total Tech Addiction, $5 just wants to show the show some love to his favorite YouTubers. Aw, that's...
Aww,
Menson One says, "Sympathies for your foot. Been there, done that. So many people don't Oh, it's about Jerry. Never mind.
dude, couch stuff. Oh, thanks, bro. I'm sitting here just suffering to death.
Like
but yeah,
even really
okay.
strong painkillers don't completely kill the pain. Yeah, because I think
don't.
I think painkillers attack a different neurosystem than what you're feeling when the gout.
Yeah,
flares.
it barely touches it at all. To be honest, like I took the Tylenol and I think the pain medication it's oxycodone or something. It's either Vicodin or Percocet.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
What the fuck weekly
But
says
it doesn't
Jay
do anything to my foot.
says Jay and Barnacles, you guys are awesome. Parentheses even coconut monkey.
Oh, thanks.
Aw.
Riley Delaney says, Jay, I'm looking to build a PC. Where'd it go? Oh, I'm looking to build a PC to play FXX or FSX XE. I know what it is. Steam Edition. Any help would be great, and thank you for. See, the problem with FSX is it came out in 2006, and it was not optimized for anything more than a dual core. And even the dual core optimization, when it first came out, was a patch. Jerry can tell you he's also a flight simmer. FSX is one of those things where no matter even the highest end hardware today will not make that game run that much better than the way it ships.
No, it's
unless you
horribly
start doing like a
unoptimized.
lot of FSX.config tweaks and start downloading various texture packs and things to just reduce the load on the CPU core. It's just sad. I loved Flight Sim, and I'm just sad that it got completely dropped. But I hear that somebody bought the rights to Flight Sim from Microsoft. We might be seeing a new one.
Ooh.
I didn't hear that. If that's true, that's epic, and
You know, it would be
it makes
possible
sense.
with today's hardware to make an amazing flight sim. I mean, flight sim's realism
Yeah.
with a lot of these texture packs and the lighting packs and the cloud packs and the water packs and stuff made it look so amazing. But the hardware couldn't really run it that good. It didn't even use the GPU. Your GPU sat there idle half the time because it was completely CPU bound.
Well, they never upgraded the version of DirectX. I think they did Flight Sim X, and then they did another
No,
one
it
after
was on.
that.
It was on. They had Flight Sim 8 DX8, and then 9 was officially supported, and they had.
Right.
I wasn't touching anything. It was like ka-doing, and it was gone. But it's going back up now. The frames are going back up now.
It's funny, the stream hasn't even caught up to the dead spot yet. Okay, there it is.
Well,
It
we're
just
back.
froze.
So as I was saying, no, OBS decided to be like, OBS is no longer responding. Anyway,
It still
so
crashes less than XSplit does, though. So,
I haven't used XSplit in like a year.
you don't need it. You really don't need it.
Anyway, yeah, if somebody made, and I know there's X-Plane out there, but I never liked X-Plane as much as FSX. FSX always felt more realistic to me than X-Plane.
I felt like Flight Simulator X had way more like controls. Like you'd get in
Yes.
the 747 and you could literally move the mouse around the cockpit, and there was like
flip
nothing you could click. Yeah, you could like turn on
the
like the
seatbelt line.
the
light and stuff.
seatbelt lights
It's
and
all
stuff, and it was like crap you'd never even see.
But,
It
but
still had a switch for it.
X-Plane was prettier because X-Plane
Granted,
had more development time and it went longer than.
And what was the
FSX.
last game that they came out with? There was a follow up to Flight Sim X.
I'm not sure.
Didn't they make
It was-
the Steam Edition?
No, they
No,
made,
it
like,
wasn't
the-
it was like way better graphics and everything like that, but it was a very small game. Like you flew like combat planes through little traps and stuff.
Not that I know of.
Hold on,
All right.
Flight Simulator. I'll look it up.
XP Brigade says, Jay, is the Titan X good enough to run Minecraft at 720p, or should I settle down and get two 980 Ti's? Clearly, he's joking. Well, Barnacles, Maxwell Meyer Henry says, will Barnacles get his Ultimakers Plus upgraded, and are the upgrades worth it to the average owner? Hope you guys got 45 minutes.
Okay, here we go. You ready? Yes and yes. I'm talking to Ultimaker. They're actually going to send me 2 of the upgraded printers and then the upgrades to upgrade the old printer. So I'll be able to do a comparison side to side. But
You have
one
3
of the
right now, right?
I have 3. I have the Ultimaker Extended, Ultimaker 2 Normal, and then the Mini, the little guy sits on your desk. But yeah, no, the upgrades are totally worth it, and I'll tell you why. Because it's got the new Olsen block on it, which has interchangeable hot ends, so you can just with a little wrench, Jay, come on. With a little wrench, you can actually change out the nozzle diameter, and it's like really, really simple to do. And it's just a better print head overall. It's more evenly cooled. But the biggest one is the feeder. The upgrade to the feeder is huge because the number one complaint that people have with the Ultimakers is the feeding of some materials. If you don't get the temperature just right at the nozzle, the little hobby end will slip on the material. And then you'll have some feed issues. And apparently the new feeder is supposed to be infinitely better at putting more force on the material without breaking it. So I'm excited to see that because the feeder is every bit as important as the hot end on a 3D printer. If you don't have a good feeder, you're going to have problems. If you don't have a good hot end, you're going to have problems. So having both of those parts like completely upgraded, I think is going to be like a game changer.
What?
Plus, I think it's going to be a hell of a lot faster, honestly, because
Hot here, huh?
it's getting hot in
Oh,
here. So he's just generating all that body heat over there.
Bad. Yeah.
Is he making all the body heats?
I kind of absorb the heat.
Liam Dot says Yulu. I don't know.
YOLO?
I don't know.
Was it YOLO?
Um,
YOLO.
Oh wow, $20 from Frat M says, "Yo Jerry, love the channel. Jay, I just subbed to yours last night. Really enjoying it. Thank you guys." He subbed because he wants the computer.
He wants that computer. Am I eligible to win that thing?
No.
Damn.
Jay, I am looking to build a PC play. Oh, I already answered that one.
If I won the computer, you know what I was going to do is just have my own giveaway. Like, as soon as the box, right, just copy all your graphics and everything and just repost it to my channel. Be like, I'm doing the same giveaway Jay did.
Can I win it back? Menson one.
Damn.
Menson one says, EK are awesome. It means EK is awesome. I wanted their new dual D5 Revo unit with the Vario pumps instead of PWM. I contacted them and they let me order exactly what I want. So many other companies that's our offering, take it or leave it. Thanks to EK. You know, EK has really, in the last 5 years, I would say, really stepped up their game.
Actually, if I remember right, the blocks that I have in my old water-cooled system, I think are EK blocks.
I don't know.
Yeah.
James Swanson says, Jerry, just give Xander chores to do. Probably to get the car out of the car.
He actually has a lot of chores. And
he does have a chore board. I saw it.
Yep. And all of his chores are basically to pick up his own stuff. And he struggles. He really, really struggles with that. He's good at taking it out. He's not so good at putting it back.
Yeah. When I was there, I heard Jerry yell at Xander, pick up your shit. Like, I heard him literally say that. Like, pick up this shit.
I'm not supposed to tell him that. I don't want people to know that I'm like, you little son of a bitch, pick up your toys!
Let's see.
Didn't I have a sleeveless shirt on, too, while I was doing it? Like, with my chest hair poking out?
Yeah, cut off.
That's what
PFolly83 says, Jay and Jerry, love you. You guys rock. Keep it up. He didn't say love you, but I added that. Love you guys. Keep it up. Thank you.
Hey, for the record, guys, Jay, set the record straight. Xander is the most spoiled child, like, ever. He is.
I don't know. I think little J and baby J are pretty close. wait till you see the house. There are like I remodeled the whole front part of the house. I did a video about it, right?
Yeah.
It's now like toy heaven. It's just toys everywhere, and the baby will just crawl around. And I actually told the wife the other day I was going to do this. I'm going to take my GoPro. We're going to clean the house. We're going to put everything in its place. We're going to put the GoPro in the corner. We're going to time lapse. Little baby Jay just scuttlebutting around, crawling, just demolishing the house, and seeing in time lapse like how she goes about it. She's very methodical.
That would be an amazing video. That would actually be a really amazing.
She's very methodical. Sometimes I walk in after making a video or something. She is literally sitting in a pile of toys, just surrounded, like just completely went ape shit in the front part of the house and just wrecking ball. She's like Wreck-It Ralph. I'm telling you right now.
You know what else would be funny? Huh. Did you see the video of the cat where they put the GoPro on the cat and it goes outside and like mugs a dude and robs a liquor store and stuff? Yeah. You should do the same thing with baby J.
She's holding a knife to little J's throat.
Yeah, like put a GoPro on her and she walks towards the front door and then you and Coconut Monkey just take over from there. Like Coconut Money. That'd be your rapper name, dude. I just came up with your rapper name.
Money.
If you ever become a rapper, you can be Coconut Money.
Yeah.
I'm going to say all kinds of ridiculous stuff today because my face is numb.
Renee Caballero Hernandez says, congrats on 500K plus subs. Hope to see you guys again soon. Good to see Nick on the show.
Cool.
We love Nick.
Cool.
The highlight of my trip to see Jay wasn't Jay. It was actually hugging Coconut Monkey. Like, I felt so much brotherly love putting my arms around him.
I'm glad I could send love out like that.
I might have even got a slight chub because he's quite.
What did you say? I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm glad I could send love that way. Gosh.
Nick Johansson says, "Oh, remember? I think Nick Johansson was the one that replied on your stream one day, and I was like, is his sister's name Scarlett Johansson?" Anyway, he says, "I'm assuming Jerry was late, but here's the $10, and Jay should have bought a Subaru."
What?
You know, I thought we talked about this.
I agree with this. I actually agree with this.
When we talked about this, I thought about buying a Subaru and an Evo for a while. Ever since I had my GSX, I wanted a Subaru or an Evo. I was kind of sworn off the 4G63 because I had so many problems with it on the GSX. So the Evo was out because of that. The Subaru, the problem, you know what the problem with Subaru is around here?
Everyone has one.
Everyone has one.
Yeah.
And so I don't know
Why
if
do you think it's bad here in Washington? I think it's even worse, isn't it? Like
No,
every
here
third
it's-
car is a Subaru.
up there. No, down here, maybe
Yeah.
because of your weather, but down here,
Yeah.
you understand. This is like Stance Nation Ground Zero
Yeah.
where I live, and the Subarus and the BRZs and the FRSs are everywhere. To the point to where even when I see a tasteful one, I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck that guy, because I'm sick of seeing it go by.
It's
I've
true.
never understood the whole stancing thing. When I bought my STI, did I tell you that it was stanced when I bought it?
No.
When I first got my STI, it had 20-inch gold rims on it, Axis gold rims. They were tilted in at 2.8 degrees of camber.
That's weak compared to what you see around here. You'll see like
Right.
-4 here.
You should.
Yeah,
Come
no.
back. We'll
Okay,
give you a
so
tour.
it wasn't like if you went over a speed bump, it would drag the car, right? Like you actually had to go up like 2 wheels on the
Yeah.
edge of the speed bump to get over it. But when I first got the car, I remember it had no suspension travel. Like they had these tiny little springs on the stock struts, and it destroyed them. Like
Yeah.
oil was just spraying out of the stock struts. So I
Yeah.
changed all that stuff out when I
Yeah.
got the car. But people used to be like, dude, that's sick. I'd like pull in the parking lot with super loud exhaust, and my wheels are sticking out like this, all stormtrooper. And
You get out of the car and the camera goes back to normal.
Yes, I had to drive it like that for a
Sorry,
month
dude.
before I could afford to do anything.
But that's the thing, right? A lot of people do the stance because it's cheap, and you can buy like cheap ass camber arms. You can make the camber incredibly.
Can't afford performance, so you just go stance.
I mean, there's just so much negativity in that crowd.
I used to go to car shows, but to be honest, like when I got back when I had the Toyota Corolla and I had the custom stuffed into it, like I did the turbo and the manifold and everything, I'd go to these car meets and people were just like really nerdy and really technical and a great bunch to hang out with. But man, when I got the Subaru and started going to the Subaru meets, everybody was a jackass.
Well, yeah, but okay. So
You get people
here-
showing up with Porsches just because they had boxer engines in them too, and I'm like, what are you guys doing here?
You gotta understand, the crowd here is they're gonna be wearing saggy pants, sideways hat,
Vapes.
lanyard hanging out of their pants. They're gonna just be walking around with like the douchebag uniform on, and talking like bruh, and that's tight, and that.
So talking like Coconut Monkey, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That whole scene down here is so saturated. You gotta understand, all this stuff. Remember, the Fast and the Furious thing started
in LA.
because of the Ontario street drags. LA had a street drag scene, like illegal street drags, but all those guys were driving out here to the Ontario area because Ontario is like the warehouse capital of the nation. Ontario, Jerry, when you flew in, remember you were like, dude, all these fucking warehouses everywhere.
Right.
Warehouses,
Yep.
huge, long straight streets that are wide because of the big rigs. At night, there was no traffic because it was just big rig traffic, and the roads were really strong because they were designed to handle 80,000 plus pound trucks going down it all day.
Yep.
So at night, on the weekends, these guys would send out these text messages, and these groups would just all gather, and they would line up their cars, and they would do 5 or 6 runs. Police helicopter would fly over. They'd all scatter. They'd send another text, and they'd all meet up somewhere else miles away.
So it was
And
literally like straight up Fast and the Furious in real life.
Fast and the Furious was based on this scene that was going on in the late 90s.
Wow.
Now, the thing is, that's died out. That doesn't really exist here anymore. In fact, the fines that were associated for even spectators were so steep now, it's not worth it to anybody to even try. But because the
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious kept that whole scene alive,
Yeah.
the folks that are buying cars now, like the late teens and the early 20 guys now who are buying their cars, they're getting caught up in the new scene, which is like the Stance Nation thing. So I like Subarus. I've always loved the Impreza. The WRX, I wanted one so badly. And then how many times have we talked about it before I bought my Z?
a lot.
I was even like, I want a Subaru. I want a Subaru. But everywhere I looked, there was a Subaru. So there was
Right.
no uniqueness to it. And it's not like a 370Z is unique or a 350Z, especially now that they're so affordable. I just got burnt out on the Subaru before ever even owning one. So that's why I don't go with the Subaru. But with folks who say,
Yeah.
Jay, you should have got a Subaru, if I got one though, I would probably go the route you are, like gravel racing and stuff like that. 'Cause
Oh yeah,
that
no,
sounds like
that's
way
the
more
cool thing
fun.
about mine is it's like straight up off the ground skid plates. I mean, I legitimately took it to a rally school and went and did a rally, like a little rough rally stage
Uh-huh.
in it, and I ran the car hard too. I mean, I was actually surprised that I didn't break anything on the car. So,
Yeah.
but no, I get what you're talking about. I mean, there's the same thing up here. I mean, everywhere you go, there's a Subaru. Like I'll pass a dozen cars a
But,
day
Jerry,
that
I've
are
been to-
more modded than mine.
But Jerry, I've been to Washington 4 times now to
Yep.
to visit you, and I look around at the cars. I'm a car guy. I'm always looking. The cars that are up there are way more tasteful than down here.
Right. They're mostly purpose built. I mean, you just still
You
get a
gotta
couple of
understand.
stance guys, but you couldn't stance a car in Washington and drive 13 miles without breaking it.
You got, no, it's not just the stance guys though, and I think Coconut Monkey will agree with me, and I'll give him a chance to talk and to respond to what I'm about to say. It's not so much the car that's the problem here. It's the driver. It's the douchebag behind the wheel that's going 150 miles or 140 miles an hour down a country road. No, they're going 140 miles an hour down the freeway in traffic, cutting in and out of lanes, just driving like idiots. Now your exhaust is really loud, but even louder exhausts down here. We We even had this one prelude go by with a straight pipe that was so loud, Nick nearly broke his neck when he swiveled to look at what went by.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
Now you gotta understand, these are these like punk kids that just don't have any respect for anything, that make the entire car scene down there, including me, affected by them. So when you hear a loud Z or something go by, you're just automatically placed into that same category of that kid. And that's what's prevalent down here.
So everybody down there is just expecting everybody with a riced car to be these crazy kids driving like assholes.
Exactly.
So they treat you like it.
But like the whole culture down here now, it's kind of like build your car for the internet. They're just doing crazy shit just to get
build
all
your car
Instagram
for
likes.
Instagram. Not even the internet. Build it for Instagram.
Exactly.
They're just building showroom cars, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Not really functional.
Yeah. Then they're doing HDR photos and they're making it like up in the clarity, and then the car looks bad, like badass, and then you go see it in person in a car meet and it's just hammered. It looks like shit.
Yeah. Well, just ask Jay. My car has genuine
Your
Northwest
car earned
paint.
those badges though.
Yeah.
It earned that moss that's growing in every single crack and orifice. Everybody asks me, like, do a video on your car, and I'm like, I gotta wait until I clean it next. Do a video on your car. It's like they don't know how bad it was. Like, I think people would cringe if I went and did a video of my car and did like up close shots of like the mold growing out of the spoiler, and there's some moisture leaks on the interior, and it's pouring oil out of both heads because the seals failed on the valve covers.
Yeah.
But it's a Subaru. I mean, the Subarus are one of those rare cars too, where it's like you can have a head gasket failure. A full head gasket failure and the car still will run and won't seize.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every car has its problems, obviously, but other cars I considered were S2K. I do like S2000s.
I don't know how you'd be able to fit in one though.
I don't think I necessarily would be able to, but I like the fact that it was just a gnarly little 4-cylinder that was rear-wheel drive, because rear-wheel drive was like my requirement.
Yeah, and if you drive it like you stole it, I mean, they're always in the power. If you bounce them off the rev limiter, I mean, they're.
I wasn't even all that into Z's until I got one. I got into Z's afterwards. I just was kind of going, okay, the 350 is not that expensive. It's rear-wheel drive. It's a V6. The aftermarket support for it was huge. And
lot of torque, ton of torque.
No.
The 370 isn't a torquey motor.
No, it's estimated, and I know people keep saying support those numbers, but it's estimated about 400 brake horsepower.
Yeah.
299-ish torque.
Oh, ouch! Is it what's the 350Z? Because I haven't driven a 370.
It depends on the year. It depends on the year. There were three revisions, but the 286 horsepower at like what 215 or 220 torque was the base, and then they had so you gotta understand, they ended up building the Z to be a super high revving motor. And at those high revs, you don't get as much torque on the high revs versus something that's tuned for lower mid-range power.
Yep.
So because the Z will wind out to 8,000 RPM before you actually get fuel cut, 7,500 recommended redline, you just don't build the torque like you do. Even guys who are throwing turbos on there are getting 550 or so brake horsepower, about 450-ish torque. The torque number is never going to be as high as the horsepower in that car. It's not, your Subaru feels faster.
The torque number's higher than the horsepower.
And I think that's because of the flat design of the motor, the way it's opposed. But your Subaru at about 50 horsepower less than my Z feels faster because of the torque.
Yeah, that torque number's high. I mean, it's 380 at the crank, whereas the horsepower is just 350.
Yeah.
But you felt that thing when you gun it from an intersection and dump the clutch. I mean, the thing just crabs around and just smoking all four tires.
The term I like to use is a raped ape.
Yeah, and it's like I wish the car would keep going like that. That's where the horsepower and torque kind of change over. Is my car will stop accelerating like crazy after about 65 miles an hour.
Right.
Whereas a high horsepower car will just keep on carrying and carrying and carrying. It's like that torque will get to take off.
That's what I like about the Z and with the mods that are on it, with their proven, they're just. I mean, we've got. 2009 was when the 370Z came out. So you've got 7 years of just data on these mods, right? On the VQ 37 VHR engine. They build their max power at redline. So the entire RPM range is building power, building. There's no flat spot in it, and that's what I really like about it. But it's also very manageable power. So because I'm not hitting that 400-ish number until redline, it's constantly building that acceleration, whereas yours just feels like it literally kicks you into that number and then it's just flat. Because that's how the turbos are, right? They spool up and then they're flat on the power band. Where mine's so much more gradual and much more elegant power. I just made that up. That's why your car.
Well, it's
feels
because there's
more
such a small
responsive.
turbo in there. I mean, they put a really small turbo in there, and it peaks out really quick, and then the wastegate just starts dumping everything after that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to, I think the VF39 can hold like 24 psi, but I'm only using 18 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could crank it up. I'm scared shitless that the motor's just going to come undone.
Yeah.
Because
No,
those motors are known for having a really weak crank bearing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
With your Cobb tune and stuff,
Yeah.
I'd be pretty confident. Like if you and I were on the freeway,
Yeah.
I would run you. I would run you and feel confident in that I'm not going to get blown up.
No, you'd catch me though. I'd take you out of the hole, but you would catch me.
I don't. Maybe, but Nick has felt that 6th to 3rd gear downshift and mashing the throttle. There's no delay. It is just on because it puts me at about 6,000 RPM already.
Yeah, I kind of want one, but
Which is funny because he's such a Euro guy.
Yeah.
He's so Euro. Audi and Volkswagen and stuff like that. He's such a Euro guy.
Well,
That's big to him
Volkswagens
to
and
say.
stuff used to feel a lot different. Like they used to be torque monsters, right? Like Audis and Volkswagens and everything. They had that real low end torque. So I remember even back when I bought the Corolla, I went and drove a Golf GTI, and I was just like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
this thing just goes like a stabbed rat." And then I even drove the little shitty one, which was the Rabbit, the Volkswagen Rabbit.
Rabbit.
And even that thing went like stink. And I was like, damn, I really want to get one, but the price was just too much. That's why I ended up having to go with the Corolla at the time. So no, I totally get the whole European horsepower, but it seems like everybody's kind of meshing together now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like Volkswagens aren't the torque monsters they used to be. Audis aren't the torque monsters they used to be. Japanese cars aren't these super high revving tuner cars anymore. You know,
I think 7,500 RPM is still pretty high.
no, it is.
With-
but like,
with the
have you ever
breathing-
driven like an Acura Integra Type R?
I'm proud to say I never have.
This is how an Integra Type R goes. You put it in first gear. It's like there's nothing, and you're like, this thing's a piece of crap, and then VTEC kicks in. It basically feels like a small turbo. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like the engine just automatically gains all this power, and then
But
if
none of
if
the
you don't
actual
shift
power.
and grab that clutch quick, and you drop out of those revs, you're like, it's a really weird experience.
I
Like,
see some people questioning like the numbers on the 370Z. Okay, and like Andrew Guinness quoted the numbers. The 370Z has 270 foot-pounds of torque at 5,200 RPM, 332 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. That's
What year,
not the. That's the same engine from 2009 till now, but they don't understand. This is the Nismo. The Nismo edition has 350 crank horsepower, has a true dual exhaust, which is where they got that extra 18 horsepower.
is it the same motor, or is it
Yeah,
just
it's
retuned?
Well, technically, the Nismo, I think they considered it to be the VQ37 VHR, and I believe the standard is the VQ37HR.
So light internal tweaking and stuff like that, but same block and everything.
There's been some teardowns of the engine compared to the VQ35 HR, which was the predecessor to the 37. The internals and the connecting rods and stuff are much beefier on the 37. But I don't know if the Nismo has any different internals. But the Nismo also hits that 350 at 7,500 RPM, not 7,000. And I believe the max torque, which was 276 instead of the 270, was at 6,000 instead of the 5,200.
Well, the only way they'd be able to change those numbers is if they had at least different cams in it. So it must have hotter cams in it.
I have no idea. I don't know exactly. I believe it's the same cam.
Because
They
you have
keep
to change the
saying-
valve timing, right? I mean,
I don't know,
if you want to change the horsepower at a different RPM, I mean, just you can't just add
Unless,
fuel. remove
well, you
fuel.
understand, then on the Nismo, they went with the true dual exhaust, and it's an actual header exhaust. There's a factory header on it, not a manifold, a true
That's
equal
true.
length
That's
header.
going to open up the flow a lot.
The standard 370 goes down from Y pipe into a single exhaust to a dual outlet muffler, whereas the Nismo is a true dual all the way back to the muffler.
Gotcha.
So there's some of the differences. But my car also has the Stillen Gen 3, the Stillen dual intakes, the Gen 3, which has apparently the position of the MAF sensor makes a difference on the tuning. It also has I've got the JWT Stage 2 clutch and stuff, which is good for a couple of horsepower because there is some slipping on the OEM clutch and flywheel.
Yeah.
And then I've got the Motordyne Art test pipes. It's got a true dual 2.5-inch back from the header back, so there's plus an X pipe, and the NVIDIA Gemini exhaust on there. And then once the tune is done, it's going to verify. That's what's going to put it about that 400 number. The tune is only good for about 5 to 8 horsepower, but apparently the throttle response is what the tune is all about on this car. And the throttle response is already massive. I can't imagine getting much better. But Nick has smelled it. The car when it's full on, it smells like a Chevy truck because it's so
it runs
rich.
pig rich. Yeah.
So rich. If I lean this out and get it safe, we'll pick up a few horsepower.
No, that usually means that they're tuning pretty close to the limits of the engine. If they're worried about like compression and detonation and stuff, I mean that's the only reason
I believe
you
it's
want
11
to
to
run.
1. I could be wrong, but I believe it's 11 to 1 in this.
11 to 1's a pretty hefty compression. I mean, the only car I know that has more than that, I think, is like the Integra Type R. I think it's 11.5. That's how they squeezed like 200 horsepower out of a 1.8 liter.
It might be 10 to 1, but still, if I was to boost it, I would go down with some like concave pistons, go down to like 8 to 1, make it a little safer.
Yeah, if you were going to do turbo, you'd probably want to drop the... If it was 11 to 1, you'd definitely want to drop the compression
I would
before
love
doing
to do a turbo. Everyone seems
gotta
to
move
forget.
to Washington. Move
can't
here.
do a turbo here.
If you would just get in a giant Mayflower moving truck and
I
get
can't.
your
I'm like,
ass
it's funny.
up
I'm like,
here.
I can't do a turbo. I can't do a turbo, but I rip the emissions out.
Yeah.
But those can be put back in a lot easier than taking a turbo out.
I know. I was just talking to my wife the other day about why are we still living where we live? Like, I lived here to work at Microsoft, right? Why don't I just like move to like Arizona and get like, you know, a gigabit connection from Google Fiber out in the boondocks where I can have like
rent
you know,
that house out in that neighborhood and buy something like you said. I told the wife, hypothetically, if I won the Powerball, which I didn't play, so of course I was never going to win, but I said if I won the Powerball, I would move so far away from any city I could find and just live off the grid. There would be no point in being near anybody, period. One,
Well,
because every charity under the sun is going to come and beat down your door to try and get you to donate money. Every distant relative you have, or they think that they're your distant relatives, are going to start knocking on the door. Even people that are friends of yours are going to suddenly start knocking on your door. You know, I saw something on Facebook, and
Yeah.
I just want to say this because I think it was perfect. It said, if you win the Powerball, don't tell anybody. Just start calling all your friends and telling them an emergency happened. You need to borrow $500, and only those who actually loan it to you do you give any money to. I was like, hey, there you go. Because if I were like, no, I can't, and then that person's like, hey, can I borrow some money?
Could I have $1 billion? Nope, sorry.
What's $1 million? You have $1 billion. It's my million. That's what it is.
That'd be funny. You win the lottery and then you just move out into like the middle of the Sahara Desert and set up like 4,000 solar panels and 8,000 battery packs, and you just basically are just burning more electricity than anybody ever did on the grid, but you're doing it all green.
All right, I'm gonna let you talk about something.
I've
I've been very mouthy now, and people are gonna be like, Jay, you never shut up.
I wouldn't worry about it. This is your week, the host, so you can do whatever you want.
It's my show. I think
Well, let's see what kind of tech talk topics we have here that people are interested in. Let's go through some of these. Cool. So somebody just said they would like to feed off our technical knowledge.
Is that a girl?
Well, there you go. What are you guys looking at?
Oh, that's totally a friend zone conversation right there.
She's married.
So?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Bruh.
Whoa, Coconut.
I mean,
don't
so for
listen
you,
to
not
him.
for me.
Don't listen to him, especially if that's my wife sending you pics again. You tell her no.
Hey.
No.
Reviews by Gary said on Twitter, if he had $1 for every chick that found him unattractive, they'd start finding him attractive.
It's funny, somebody
I'm
over
a catch.
in chat.
I'm a catch. Can I say that? I'm a catch.
I keep seeing somebody over in chat say, talk about the Baofeng. Talk about the Baofeng, my little ham radio thing that I have on my desk that actually isn't on my desk this time.
Oh.
They only talk about it. Anyways, I got this little ham radio. It's a little handheld, portable, 5-watt ham radio that I can use in that case that the grid goes offline till I call in the choppers. That's what it is.
You feel that?
Yes.
I was going to do a review on it, but I never got around to it. And plus, I don't have my ham license. So technically, I can't legally use it unless it's in an emergency situation. So I can't really do a demo. I was like, how am I going to do a video if I keep the mic?
My dad was a radio operator in the Navy too, and had his ham license, built his own radios, and used to do all the ham stuff.
That's cool. Does he still got any of it?
His license isn't valid anymore, and he stopped that before I was even born. But that was like his passion, was building ham radios.
Yeah, I went and looked at it. It's like you got to like announce your handle every 10
so
minutes and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, this would be the most annoying conversation ever. Hey Jay, how are you doing today? This is Barnacles 159er. and then when you start the call, you have to say who you are when you end the call. It's like even if you just announced yourself and you end the call like 5 seconds later, you still got to say it again. It's like, oh my god.
We start every Skype conversation that way.
We should be like, this is Barnacles 1. Reaching out to JayzTwoCents 1.
JayzTwoCents over. Loud and clear, Barnacles 1. What you got over there? Over.
That would be the most annoying tech talk ever. In the
Boss Hog.
So Platinum Legs said, fill us in on the Microsoft HoloLens. What's it going to be like? And what is it for people who don't know about it? Well, I can tell you what I know about HoloLens. I know that it's supposed to be an augmented reality experience where it basically superimposes 3D objects over like real things you're looking through the lens. And I know that when they tried to make it a retail wireless unit, they dropped the field of view to something so narrow everybody's bitching about it. That's what I know about it so far. So they need to correct the field of view issue. Otherwise, people probably aren't going to buy it unless they sell it dirt cheap.
So I want to put something in the chat for people to answer when this stream catches up. So Oculus Rift at $600, yes or no? I still want it.
Last I heard, it wasn't $600. It was 600 euros.
Oh, so 500 something bucks.
So it's like, no, it's like 800 and some dollars US.
Sure?
Let me go double check, but somebody corrected me on that, and it was more than one person.
Oh, you might be right. I still kind of want it.
Oculus.
I mean, if people will buy,
dude, I'm gonna buy one. I can't not buy one.
If people are gonna buy $1,200 panels, wouldn't they buy that? See, I want it specifically for my simulator rig.
No, they're wrong. $600. $600.
Yeah, that's what I heard. $600, and
it's 2K per eye, which is a drastic improvement on the original DK1 and DK2. So I kind of thought 600 was a little steep, but I guess if you think about like a large format dedicated computer monitor, you'd be approaching that kind of money. So why not?
Exactly. Well, so just to let the chat know, over the next month or two, it's going to be a little hectic around here because we're actually going to be moving into a bigger place because my sister's moving into this house. And so it's going to be some setup time. But I'm finally going to have an actual game room that I can get all this shit out of here and have an office and then like a common room with game rooms set up for like computers for friends to play on and the racing simulator and maybe some arcade games. That would be cool. I want the Oculus for iRacing. That's what I want it for. And I'm the idiot that would pay $600 just to have the virtual 3D racing experience.
Yeah, and I think with 2K per eye, you would actually be able to see the.
He was talking, you just couldn't hear him because he's so fucking quiet.
Coconut, speak up, boy.
Are you gonna
speak up.
Are you gonna have another?
Use your voice.
Head to head.
Are you saying I should get a second racing simulator?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to write an email. I write an email to a Badu.
Nick, use your tech support call center voice.
I don't have one because I never got hired for that.
This is Nick. What is the number?
Yeah. Thank you for calling Microsoft.
Whoa, that took me back. I had like flashbacks.
Was that your cousin? That was your cousin, right?
That's how I make my family phone calls. Just call tech support.
Hilarious. You just call them up and be like, I need to get to tier 3. That's my cousin.
I'm like knocking everything off the desk over here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What about Project Cars? The problem with Project Cars, and I have it, is maybe it's changed now, but the last time I played it, it wasn't done yet. It was still considered an early access. There weren't enough cars or enough tracks. Like, you've seen me play it. I would go to Big Willow because that's where I have a lot of my driving experience. And that was like the only track I drove on. There's also Laguna Seca, but there just wasn't that many licensed tracks or cars.
Yeah.
So I felt like it just wasn't done. I also feel like the physics in iRacing still are better than Project Cars.
I agree with that, but Project Cars, that does have some pretty damn amazing graphics.
The graphics. If you took the graphics of Project Cars with the physics engine of iRacing, boom, reality.
Yeah, what really bugs me is the iRacing, they do upgrade the graphics a little bit, but it's not a priority on their list because most sim racers don't have massively... They put their money into the rig, or into the sim, not into the rig.
And you can play it on a lower-end system. Like, people have been able to play them on laptops and not have too many problems. But I'll with as much as I played iRacing, I will say, though, with it completely maxed out and when I had the NV Surround going, I didn't spend my time thinking these graphics sucks. I actually had more time thinking about the race and the physics, and it just felt so real. I didn't think about that. You know, it's not as bad as some of like the NASCAR sims and stuff that are out there. I mean, iRacing was pretty crisp for what it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't leave me thinking at the back of my... See, I'm a graphics whore, and you guys know that. I want the graphics turned as high as they can go, obviously.
Well, when you have like 4 Titans in your kid's computer.
One's over there and three over there. But anyway.
You're using them for bookends.
No, the bookend on that side... Oh, that's a 980 Ti.
You're a dick. Shut up. Back on point.
Anyway.
Nobody wants to hear about your $600 graphic card bookends.
My bookends. But no, So if a graphics whore like me isn't caught thinking, God, these graphics suck, then it's really not that bad. I don't think iRacing is that bad.
No, I think iRacing was tastefully done. Like, even though the graphics aren't, they don't have like amazing textures and stuff like that, they're crisp. Mm-hmm. Everything's perfectly crisp, and that's what you need when
that's what made Project Cars look so much more realistic, is there was motion blur and there was light flare. I don't want to say bloom because you don't see bloom with your eyeballs, but you
like the volumetric light coming through the trees,
the shadows,
and stuff. Yeah.
I think the grass even swayed.
Visually, it was very pleasing.
Yeah.
You know what? Another game that really surprised the hell out of me if you're into rally driving is Dirt Rally.
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah.
Dirt is not well known for physics, right?
I suck.
Like the guys at Dirtfish Rally School actually use Dirt 3 as a training tool, but they would even tell you like don't expect like lift turn brake to work the exact same way as the real car and stuff like that. And it's like Dirt Rally, they legitimately nailed it. If you put that thing on hard, it is like legit simulation.
I put it on realistic, or like that realistic, the most realistic setting they have, and I might as well have just been starting in the forest.
Well, yeah, you know it's a realistic game if you can't get to the end of the stage without flipping into the trees at least 5 times. I mean, that's how I measure a rally simulator. And
then by the time you do make it to the end, you pulled back so much, all of the staggered starts behind you passed you.
Yeah, like I sold Tanner Witten, Dirtfish's old rally driver. Mm-hmm. I sold him my old simulator, and that's what we played when we went over to his house. And I did like a little video. I don't know if you saw the video.
He looked like he was just nailing it.
He was nailing it, but that's just it, right? Is he's a professional rally driver, and he just jumps in there and he's just kicking its ass. He's like, yeah, this feels super real. And I get on it, I'm like in the woods.
I know, I'm thinking, there's no way no car could do this, and he is, you know.
Yeah, you can actually drag your tire in the ruts. Like, you know, when you cut a corner, you can actually grab the inside of the rut with your tire and pull the car, and it's like that never worked right in Dirt 3.
Yeah.
And now they modeled it correctly. But no, I'm surprised at some of the simulators coming out. That's why I really got to get off my ass and finish my simulator. Like, well, I can't do it with Clubfoot right now, but once Clubfoot's healed, I really want to get my simulator back.
Dirt 3 was pretty arcadey, though.
It was very arcadey.
Dirt 3 was more about the Gymkhana thing, too, right?
It was.
Yeah, it was. But I thought that was a fun thing back then.
You still do. Don't lie. I see your Steam play history.
There was no way you could play Dirt 3 without an e-brake.
Right.
Like, you had to have an e-brake bound to a key or something somewhere, because without it, there was no way you could...
Can I take that a step farther and say I don't feel like you could really play it without a modulated e-brake?
Oh, are you just constantly on it?
No. What I mean is like even your stinky board, that's an on-off. I'm talking about modulation, where based on how hard you pull it is how hard the rear locks up.
God, I don't even remember.
That's how it is in real life with a hydraulic brake for drifting. Is you're pulling on it, but it's you can modulate how much you can even let it slip a little bit.
Yep.
But the fact is, on the simulators, and if you have it bound to a button, then it's like 100% or off. 100% or off.
I've never actually done drift car. I don't know how they use it in drift car. They might modulate, but in rally driving, you do not modulate that e-brake. In rally driving, they teach you to pull that thing with like the force of Jesus, and then just let it rip when you get to
drift the same way that you've seen.
From what I've seen, they use it to transfer into other drifts.
Yeah, like when you're rally driving, what you want to use it for is just to break traction of the rear end. And once you got that traction broke, then you use the throttle to keep it out of traction.
Well, drift does the same thing, but they use it to link, right? To link together turns.
Yeah, but I can see drift being a little bit more of a higher precision thing, because in the dirt, obviously, you're going to lock up the tires really easy, right? But I remember when I was doing the advanced 2-day class at Dirtfish, where we were doing the full-blown rally stage, we had a hairpin that we had to do with the e-brake, and it was like they told you, do not half-ass that thing, do not pull the little bit. They're like, clutch in, rip that thing, get the car massively sideways, commit to it, and then just let it go. Like don't ease on and ease off, because they're like, that'll screw you.
I would love to experience Dirtfish someday.
We're gonna make it happen.
I would be such a little girl out there. I'm telling you, because the only thing I know and the only experience I have is grip, and that doesn't mean anything on dirt, right? You can take a grip expert and put him on the dirt, and he'll be just as lost as the guy who's never raced at all, won't he?
But the weirdest sensation is in the dirt is your grip changes continuously. Like you'll start out with a pair of Grippa tires that have like sharp edges on the rubber, huge canals between each little section of rubber, and the thing will grab the dirt like asphalt. I mean, but then after like 5 or 6 laps, you're on bald tires.
That all out.
The fronts are just completely gone. The backs still have tread on them, and so the car is completely changing. So you can't ever go into a corner knowing exactly what the car's limits are.
You know the audience wants to see Jerry versus Jay on the dirt. You know they want to see this.
I honestly think that is the only place where I could ever outshine you if you didn't have any practice ahead of time.
No,
like only because I have like 12 hours.
Even then, I don't think rally is one of those things you just kind of go. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's naturals out there, but I don't.
Well, remember, it's on pavement too. It's half pavement, half dirt. So
okay, so the pavement I might make up a few tenths, but when it comes to trying to unlearn everything you know regarding the physics of a car, I'm gonna be fighting all of my experience out there.
You would actually, because when you drive a rally car, you actually use your left foot on the brake, and you don't do that when you're driving on a track.
Yeah.
Because on the track, you never want to brake and throttle at the same time unless you're like
No.
Formula One driver and you need to heat your brakes. But
No.
but yeah,
the only time you're 2 foot anything is if you're gonna do like heel toe or blip or something like that.
yeah, and it's like if you ever watch a rally driver, he has 1 foot dedicated to the gas pedal, or not dedicated to the gas pedal, but what he'll do is he'll move his feet together.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So it'll be like clutch, brake, and then the foot's over the brake.
Yeah.
And the reason why they do that is because they'll put light pressure on the brake, give it gas, and then your bias and your brake booster will push more power to the rear wheels than the front wheels. So you basically ride that brake and it locks up the fronts while your rears are still spinning, and it allows you to basically just pivot the car.
Yeah.
And that's what they're constant. So it's nightmarishly hard on brakes. I mean, when I did it, I think we went through 2 sets of brake pads and a full set of tires in
how
3
much
days.
how much is Dirtfish?
It's like last time I did, I think it was like $3,600 for the 3-day.
Oh wow, that's really not that bad.
It's not hard. Trust me, for what you're getting. I mean, you're running a couple tanks of gas through that car.
You can spend $2,000 for 1 day of the NASCAR experience out here.
That's true, and you destroy an entire set of tires. So they start the car out on day one with a fresh $800 for these grip of tires, and a set of brake pads, whatever that costs, and you completely annihilate them. I mean, they're done. At the end of 3 days, if you did what they told you, they're gone.
I just
you
looked
get to
over
keep them.
What's that?
He wants
get
to
to keep the parts?
tires.
No. I bet you they'd probably let you if you want to, because all they're doing is just using them to create walls and stuff out there on the track. If you asked them, they'd probably give me. I do have a souvenir somewhere around here.
I looked over in the chat because I haven't looked in a while, and all I see is arguments about Obama and Trump. Like, oh God, look away from chat. Look away from chat.
This happens every time. That's why we can't have nice things.
It's like, what conversation are you guys having over there?
So Nick, this is actually the real piston rod out of my 1ZZFE and my Corolla. When I put 12 pounds of boost to it, it melted, literally melted the rod, and it just snapped off right there. And it's actually 2 rods blew in the motor, but I kept one of them and made a little trophy base out of it. But when I was out at Dirtfish,
In loving memory of.
I'm embarrassed to say that I wrecked one of their cars. I took their GC8 Subaru, which was built by ProDrive, which is a really well-known WRC rally builder, and I drove their ProDrive car off the pavement and into the woods and over a bunch of like thin little stick trees and hit a rock, and I bent the steering linkage in the front of the car, so one wheel was like tucked in and the other one was straight. And so when they took the little steering control rod off or whatever, they gave it to me. So I have it somewhere around here, the actual bent control rod, and they actually gave it to me as a trophy, as a reminder never to do that again.
That's awesome.
And they just went and got me another car. They just went and pulled another car out and was like, here you go, don't do it again or we're going to kick you out.
Let me know if you guys want me to put the footage on the vlog channel, but I've got 2 separate K1 kart racing days on GoPro, helmet mounted GoPro, where I went with him the first night, and then we went with a third friend who was actually, I would say his driving is close to mine when it comes to kart. Okay, so he's never been to a track or anything like that. He's really good at things like Forza and stuff. But he got in the go-kart, and he's pretty quick. He was faster than me on the best time every race, but our averages, I was like 3 seconds faster per lap every time.
But he's also really light.
That's what I was just going to say. He's 140 pounds lighter than me.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if anyone's interested in seeing that GoPro footage. But I've got his perspective because he had a camera, I had a camera, and he had a camera. So I have to get his footage.
I really want to see it.
But it was funny. Every single race, he's like, beat you, because it's time trial, right? And so it wasn't an actual race, it was time trial. I'm like, yeah, look, you beat me by what, 200 or 0.2 of a second on your best lap? Let's look at the averages. The averages, I was 3 seconds on average faster than him every single race, every single lap. So it's one of those things where if I was 140 pounds lighter, maybe if I cut off my right leg.
Well, that's my biggest complaint too. I told you I go to PGP, which is our actual outdoor karting track, and it's like they have a series where they weight the carts to 200 pounds. Basically, you have to go stand on a scale, and then they give you lead weight to bring it up to 200 pounds. And so obviously that's the one I run in because I want the best chance. Yeah. But I weigh almost 300 pounds. So even in that series, I weigh another third as much as every other cart on that track, and they all just on the straight just blow by me like I'm standing still.
What is that in stone?
I don't know.
How many kilos?
Oh my gosh.
All I know is...
How many kilos of cocaine are you, Jerry?
A lot. A lot. I don't know. That was back in my Colombian drug lord days.
Why so pale? All right, I'm going to catch up on some of these donation comments here.
All right. I am pale today. I'm really pale today.
Have I seen Star Wars? Liam Dot asks. Yes, I have seen Star Wars, and I want to see it again.
Kylo does it.
El Zamo92 says, money. I like money. Send me money. Tim Malroy says, here, I think this is yours, $5. Yes, I'm going to buy a coffee with that once we're done. At AT Moore He gave $5. Says thanks for all the amazing videos. If it weren't for you guys and Linus Tech Tips, if it wasn't for just Jayz2Cents, I probably would be as into PCs as I am now. Congratulations on 508K subscribers as well, Jay. Hopefully you can break the 1 million mark by the end of the year. It's not going to happen by the end of this year at all, but
I'm going to make a bet. I'm going to make a bet right here that Jay actually has more subscribers than me before 2017.
I don't know, man, because I'm hoping you're going to make some videos and get your shit together. And anyway, he did thank Linus Tech Tips also for his PC stuff. I didn't want to give them a shout out. Let's see. Reginald Enterprises says, "What have you guys gotten so far for Star Citizen? Have you played any yet?" I don't play Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Jerry, you don't play anything.
I want to play Star Citizen though, because I got that awesome Thrustmaster HOTAS setup. I still want to review, and I've got a head tracker, that Track IR5. How cool would that be? With 3 4K 50-inch screens, be able to look around the glass cockpit of the
Star
ship.
Citizen is incredibly taxing on the system. There's no way you're going to surround 4K with two.
No, I got two 980 Ti's. Don't worry, dude. I'm
That's
good.
like 6 too short.
Dude, I overclocked them by like 3%. We're good. I got this.
Oh, okay. Well, underclock your panels then.
Remember, my monitors only do 30 frames per second. No, I'm just kidding. They don't do 60. But...
Is it for that cinematic feel? Let's see. Iron Zeeg says, "Love the channel. Keep up the good work. The good job, guys. Question for Jay. I have to try using any type of dye on Ice Dragon. Okay, Ice Dragon is incredibly thick compared to Mayhem's. I once used an entire bottle of yellow dye on the 1 liter jug of Dragon Ice, and it turned tan because it's so heavy. The dye didn't impregnate it. That's a fun word to say. Didn't impregnate the fluid." Good, Jerry. See, Jerry, impregnation is when a guy loves a girl.
Jerry's all giddy.
When a guy loves a girl, he gets these feelings. Okay, so anyway, no, I couldn't turn it. I could not turn the color. The Mayhem's dye is a lot better, a lot easier. So yeah, Dragon Ice is probably the best nano fluid you can get. In fact, the Mayhem's is based on it, but it was hard, incredibly hard to dye. Frank the Walrus says $5 towards you getting a GTI.
Spot twist, you already have one.
Wheel drive. Hambone1234 says, "Yo Jay, yo what up Hambone? What are your thoughts on the Camaros? Ooh, I know someone with a fire one, completely custom. A fire one?
I know that every Hot Wheel my son owns is a Camaro. I know that.
So deep down inside, those feelings we talk about when a man loves a girl. I've always had a very soft spot for F-bodies. F-bodies were okay. My very first sports car was an '89 RS. It was a 5.0 liter throttle body injected, didn't have tune port or whatever. It was a gutless pig, but it was mine. It was my first sports car. Then that got wrecked because somebody rear-ended me in a truck and pushed me into an intersection, and it got completely destroyed. I then took the insurance money and I bought a 92 Z28 tune port injected, again a 5.0, not a 5.7, couldn't afford it, which then had a shit ton of suspension parts put into it, and that's where I started getting my track experience, was with that car. It only had like 230 horsepower after the ported tune port injection, the ported manifold, the throttle body.
And weighed 783 tons?
Steel body. Yes, it was a complete steel body. There was no plastic panels on that car except for the front and rear fascia. Anyway, the car weighed something like 3,900 pounds. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So when I go to... I just kicked something hard. When I go down the street and I see a nice F-body, I even saw a third-gen Firebird, a Trans Am TA. Like, it looked like an 88 or an 89 at the gas station. I legitimately stopped and got out and walked around the car and looked at it, because it was parked in like the lot where everyone puts their cars for sale. And for a split moment, I almost owned another F-body. But then I heard the wife in my ear going, a 350, a 370, and an F-body?
He'd have to unload one.
I'd be like, honey, we need a 5-car garage when we move. No, F-bodies are always going to be my first love when it comes to sports cars.
That's why I never got into American cars, because the whole power to weight ratio thing. You know, like even the old ones. Like I remember my dad, he had a...
Do you know what happened to the American sports car? Emissions.
What's that?
Happened to the American sports
That's
car.
true. That's true. No, I'm trying to remember what my dad had. It was 71... It wasn't a Torino.
Ooh, that was...
No, it was... Why can't I remember the name of it? Anyways,
by the way, we do have to end on the dot at 6:30. I've got to go pick up Nizzy when we're done.
So anyways, my dad had a car. It had a 450 horsepower small block Ford engine in it. Mm-hmm. And it weighed 7,200 pounds. That was the curb weight on the stamp inside the door. And so you'd think 450 pounds would go like stink, and it didn't. That car just, even with like he had like 10.5-inch wide tires on the back.
Yeah.
The thing would just smoke him, and then hook and go.
Was it a big block?
No, a small block.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a little small block in it, and it would break torque converters constantly because the car was just so damn heavy that when it finally hooked traction, it would just crack the plate.
I always had this pipe dream of getting one of the Chevy 454 trucks. You know, you would see them. They were always black, and they had 454 on the bed.
On the tit.
Because on the tit, yeah, the tit, same thing. They took a big block, an old school 454, and put it in a sport truck. It was like a standard cab, regular bed, 454, and I was thinking, man, if you tub that thing, put the proper drag suspension on it, and put just some breathing mods into the 454, the amount of torque that thing had, you'd be talking 600 foot-pounds of torque. Could you imagine just the reaction of people? It's like Farm Truck, right, on Street Outlaws?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the reaction of people just getting whooped by this truck? And now people are going to start linking me all these videos of people doing that in trucks. I know. That's why I wanted to do it.
No, I was in a propane-injected F-350 once that was like so high up off the ground, like you opened the door and a runner board popped out so you could step up into the damn thing. Yeah. And I remember he pulled up
the light. It was actually only 6 inches off the ground, but he knew Jerry needed help.
But it was an automatic, giant diesel, like 7+ liter diesel with propane injection. He just floors it. And I remember he was like racing a car next to him and the car just disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a Volkswagen GTI or something like that. But he's just like, and the whole front end of the truck, because the suspension's so soft, is just doing this.
What I love about Farm Truck is it still has the camper shell and all the shit in the bed.
Yeah, and did you see what they did with the hood? Because they couldn't get the hood to fit on it. It's actually just kind of jacked up in the back so air can get around it. Yeah. It looks like it wrecked, like it rear-ended somebody.
I got a funny donation comment here. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
So it's by Let It Burn. He says, love the channel, Jay and Jerry. Sorry to be off topic, but... And what's funny is he goes into a tech question. So when tech is off topic, we apologize. Anyway, he says, oops, which is a better option, SATA or M.2 when it comes to SSD? Love the channel, Jay and Jerry. Sorry to be up. Oh, so it's doing that thing where it like repeats itself. All right.
Yeah, M2.
Here's the deal. M.2 is faster. Yes.
Yes.
M.2 also runs a bit hotter because usually they're going to be on the motherboard, underneath graphics cards and things with a lot of heat around it. So for M.2 to remain at its max speed, which is way faster than any SATA interface, you're going to have to think about something to keep it cool. The other thing you can do is take your M.2, put it on a PCIe card, and then you can get it up into the airflow, and it will be just as fast through the PCI Express interface. The bottom line is the PCI Express, which is what M.2 is also connecting to on the motherboard, is a much faster communication with the CPU than going through the SATA interface. So
yeah, and actually run... Oh, I was going to say, I run 2 in William, one in the PCIe slot, and then the one that's on the motherboard, just like you said. Puget actually epoxied a heatsink onto it because the FLIR was showing that the thing was getting dangerously hot and reaching like a failure point.
Right. Remember, they are flash NAND, and what's going to happen is as they get hot, they're going to also start to slow down, and you'll start seeing less benefit of having it. And like on this motherboard here that I have that I did Skunkworks, it's under the GPUs. If you have air-cooled GPUs, that hot air from them while you're gaming is going to blow directly on it. So definitely want to keep it cool.
Storage is getting crazy though. Have you seen like some of the new drives that are coming out? The ones that they're saying like 7x the speed of current M2.
I know,
like in the next year.
It's crazy. The other thing I was going to say though is there's some caveats to that. One, you can get much bigger SATA drives for a lot cheaper than comparable sized M.2. I mean, you can get what 1 terabyte M.2s now, but they're like $500 or more.
They're very, very expensive.
$600, something crazy.
Yeah.
Where you can get a 1 terabyte SSD now, or 960 gig or whatever it works out to be, for like $300.
Yeah, you get a 2 terabyte for like six or 700 for the Pro mod.
So ask yourself this: if getting the M.2 and getting a large enough one to put all your files on, because I hear folks go, 256 is big enough. Yeah, but when the OS takes its partition and you've got the secure partition and you lose a lot, like 50 gigs.
Not when you're dealing with Microsoft and every time they they back up everything.
Yeah, so
like when you do the Windows 8 upgrade,
just grows and grows and grows and grows.
Yeah,
so that's something to keep in mind. If you have to get a smaller drive to get an M.2 and you don't need that speed, get the SATA drive, save some money, and get a better GPU or CPU or something like that. That would be my recommendation. On a day-to-day use, if you're not doing something where you literally need to get that kind of read-write speed, you might not see the benefits of an M.2. Do you concur?
I concur.
Okay, you concur.
And tech tip: make sure you run, if you're running Windows 8, actually Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 10, just run disk cleanup. The disk cleanup wizard inbox, and you can actually go through and delete all the old backups on Windows.
And shit,
which sometimes those are a pain in the ass to remove because they'll like put protection on the folders and stuff. You can actually delete them through the disk cleanup tool, just make sure that you select that you want to be in administrator mode and run it as admin. Otherwise, a lot of those options won't appear.
You know who else is notoriously bad for keeping old files that continue to build and build in your system taking up
Adobe.
space? NVIDIA.
Oh, NVIDIA does too?
NVIDIA does it too with their drivers when it updates and it goes through
Oh,
GeForce
wow.
Experience updates. So you can usually clean out the NVIDIA folder too. Don't just go into NVIDIA folder and wipe it. But you
Yeah.
can typically find a lot of, like, sometimes upwards of 20 gigs of space can be freed up in the NVIDIA folder.
That's insane.
It is insane.
God. Yeah, no, I noticed that with Adobe products too. Like if you go into the Adobe add the app data folder and you go into the Adobe folder,
Yeah.
I've seen as much as 60 gigabytes of stuff just chilling in the cache folder.
Yeah,
Like if you have hard drive space, they're gonna use it. So just
That's
know
why
that that's a good place to go and get space.
that's why
back.
when I configure Adobe, I specifically tell it to save the cache files at the project location.
Yeah,
So-
I need to actually make that change because I keep finding that I'm running out of space on my freaking M2
Yeah.
drive, and I'm like, why is Adobe packing? But that's where it's installed. That's just
Yeah.
the default location where it puts it.
So let's see here.
Somebody asked a really good question. I'm trying to find it here. That was, what do you think about the Oculus Rift and porn? I'm sorry, I can't find your name,
Jeez.
but I'd find that scary
creepy.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really
360 camera.
scary.
So you can
Because-
turn around and see all the people recording it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that's like you want to know when like your wife or girlfriend's coming, right? Like if you're watching something, how awkward would that be if you just had like headphones on and your eyes completely engulfed?
I guess it
And you like
depends
go
on
to
how
take off the
open-minded
helmet,
your
your
wife or
pants are
girlfriend
around
is.
your ankles. There's like your parents are standing behind you and shit.
Jinzo,
Yeah, you don't-
Jinzo
not a good
Defiler
thing.
says, we all know Coconut Monkey is hung like a horse. I would like to correct that statement. We all know horses are hung like Coconut Monkey.
Oh.
Ooh. But is he hung like Chuck Norris?
No.
No.
Mason 1 says, and the GPUs to run it. And to run what? I don't see any other comment by you.
I think that's in reference for me to being hung
Oh, maybe.
like a horse.
Aaron Peterson says, I support you and I can watch Jerry rub his nipples. Oh, so I can watch Jerry rub his nipples. He only gave $22. And remember, we don't get the
But-
truffle
One nipple.
shuffle.
Yeah.
We
Just
don't
one
get the
nipple.
truffle shuffle unless there's 2,000 likes. And we
one
have to shut off exactly at 6:30, so we only have 9 minutes.
How many likes are we at?
I have no idea. I haven't refreshed
Let
it.
me refresh.
Do it.
We're at 403 likes.
Ain't happening. All right. Mr. Science Dude, please explain your view of the Tico 3D printer. God, we don't have time for that this week. Austin Anderson, do you even know about
It's
the
a
Tico?
Yes, I do know about
Oh,
the Tico.
God.
I haven't used one yet. So I can't speak to its actual performance. But seeing as it started as a Kickstarter and looking at the basic design and how the head attaches with magnets and stuff like that, I honestly don't see it being that fast or that accurate. But honestly, for the price, even if it's a piece of crap, it would be a fun entry into 3D printing. So can't really argue for the price. I think it's like $199 for a 3D printer. I mean,
Oh.
even if you take it apart and just reuse the motors for other shit, I mean, it's worth it.
Austin Anderson says, "Don't spend it all in one place. $5. I won't, because Starbucks is $4.90. What, $4.90 or $4.95? Yeah, $4.95. So
Depending
I'll have a
on the
nickel left
beverage.
over.
Sean's like, Jerry, rub your glorious nipples.
I don't want to. Never do something for free.
I've never heard
Let's see. Midland 1072 says, "Hey Jay, figured I would donate since the last time I watched live. Tech Talk was on Barnacle channel, same amount, and I like I put it for the same amount, and I give you more or less. It's okay, dude.
Way to be fair.
I'll play-
And I love the show. I was just wondering, what would be a good, reasonably priced? I'm in college, so that means like no budget.
Yeah.
Replacement for my Sony CX190 Handycam. The image quality just isn't there. I don't know. I have not dealt with any of the low-end Handycam stuff. You guys know that Jerry and I use this, the AX33,
Yeah.
which is not cheap. This is $1,000.
Yeah, it's
And it's
pretty
4K
expensive
capable. It's actually a really good camera.
If
so, yeah.
if you are a lazy person that knows nothing about photography,
So, Jerry, what are your
that's a
thoughts?
damn good camera. Yeah, exactly. If you're anything like me, well, no, it's because I've always made the joke that it's like I have more expensive equipment. Well,
Yeah.
used to anyways than Jay. I think Jay has kind of graduated up over the years, but
No, you still have
I-
your Mark III and stuff.
Oh, is a Mark III? So would you still consider that a higher end body than what you're shooting with?
Yeah, dude,
I think
I'm
yours is
using
more
sev-
capable though.
I'm using a
70D.
70D. My 70D is a
Yeah.
little bit more tailored towards video than I would say your 5D is, but
Right.
your 5D is still better sensor and everything.
So I bought the 5D Mark III, the 5D Mark II, a bunch of lenses, all this stuff. And honestly, I could never, no matter how hard I try to get the video quality even remotely close to Jay's, because Jay's better with the lighting and the manual settings on the cameras. I go buy the Sony, and it's like the Sony, I just turn it on and say record me, and it just does everything I want, and it looks great, and I don't have to fight it.
So Liam Dot donated $5 to make me rub my nipples. I'll do one better. I'll do radio.
Tune it in.
All right. Let's see. We got 6 more minutes here. So Jerry, speaking of the
Yes.
3D printer stuff,
Yes, sir.
I remember when you made that 3D pen video. Did you ever realize it was going to be one of your videos that exceed 1 million views?
No, I'm starting to see a trend here where all the videos I don't think will ever go anywhere are the ones that go places.
So just make a video and just keep saying out loud, this video will never go anywhere.
But
That's
he
what I'm
doesn't
gonna do.
make any videos to say that.
Oh.
Oh, burn! Oh, where's the
Oh.
burn cream? I just got burned.
You need some water?
I do.
Water cool that burn, bitch.
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't think that 3D printer pen video
What about your
from like
Pokemon
Amazon.
ball?
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna get like 800,000 or a million. That's crazy.
I never. Okay, I thought the first video that was going to break 1 million for me was going to be Little J builds a computer. That kind of
Yeah.
stalled out around the 600,000 range. The Titan X beating Linus's Titan X videos and stuff, and being the one that's about to hit 1 million views,
Yeah.
is surprised the hell out of me. But I'm surprised that the video I did about the AMD APU was the one that crossed 1 million, and it is still just going.
Yeah, it's really strange. I try not to speculate about how popular a video is. Just do something that I want to do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which is why you haven't been seeing a lot of videos lately, because
you
like,
can't
my heart's not in it. I don't do it.
You quite honestly can't. You quite honestly can't even begin to predict. You can think, oh, a lot of people might be interested in this, and it might get shared, and it just no one gives a crap.
Yeah, I didn't think my video on depression was going to get that many views either. That was kind of shocking to me, because I was like, I kind of did that for me because I was at my wit's end and I just needed to get stuff out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that ended up becoming a wildly popular video, and that kind of scared me, to be honest, because that's like not, you don't want to be known for that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like what's that horrible saying from the movie? God, what is it? It's like you could build 1,000 bridges and suck one dick, and you wouldn't be known as a bridge builder. You'd be known as a cocksucker.
Wow.
Have you ever heard
what
that?
do you watch?
No. I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know
remember
where that
which
quote
movie
came
it
from. I
was,
really
but
don't.
It might have been an adult movie. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it stands true. It really does. It's like I don't want to be known as the depressed guy on the internet that got fired from Microsoft. I want to be known as the guy that likes to do 3D printing and loves technology.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. Sometimes you don't get to make that choice. People, they latch on to something that relates themselves to you, and that happened to be being a depressed person, and so be it.
Relco asked, Jay, are you going to Logan's giant LAN party in Seattle? Was it
Land
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 Syndicate.
Syndicate? No, I am not, because there are too many things happening in April, and unfortunately, the timing is one during Little Jay's birthday and my cousin's 18th birthday get together. So no, I'm not going to Land Syndicate.
I will be there, though.
Let's see.
I would miss it for the world.
Sean Moline says, missed my larger donation and question. He donated $5 on this one. He donated a larger one before? I'm just going to keep missing his questions, and he'll keep giving bigger ones, I guess. No. Would adding a second 980 Ti to my system be a smart upgrade, or waiting for the next graphics card to come out? I don't know. You didn't tell me what your system is, and you didn't tell me what monitors you're using, and you didn't tell me what games
You know
you're
what?
playing.
I'm not as complicated as Jay. Yes, it's absolutely worth it. Just do it.
If you like doing if you just like nerding out on seeing all those graphics, does that look cool? Does it look cool? Right now?
It's really cool.
Yeah. Whoa, you're
Oh.
really close to the mic.
You will get between a 0% and 30% improvement in performance depending on what you're doing.
I like that 0 and 30.
You like that? No, because there is, right? There's some games that just do not
Man.
utilize SLI for garbage.
That blinker FPS inside Word.
That's all I had there when you let me borrow the 980.
Yeah.
I was just using it to write papers. Like, hey, it's,
Which I apologize, it's still down there.
Oh.
I haven't been able to do that.
You stick a 980 in your computer so you can run Word perfect for DOS.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, would you do a video on the MSI 970A Crate Edition? Looks like no advertisement on the week 4+1 power delivery. I already did a video on it, but it was more of an unboxing. And yeah, you're right. It does have a fairly weak power delivery system, and it does seem like those graphics or those CPUs that draw 125 watts of power, like the 8350, do tend to be making the capacitors go. So that's unfortunate. I have one in the closet, literally right there. You can grab it. We got 2 minutes. When you open the closet door, it's going to be a black and white box right on the top, like on the right hand side. He's going into the closet. Nope, down, right there, straight ahead. It says Crate Edition right on your face. Look straight.
Hold on.
No, you're looking down. Look straight.
Straight.
Right there. Crate
Oh,
Edition.
Emma Robertson in chat said that she's sad that I'm not doing tech talk out on the lawn naked.
Stop.
Okay,
Maybe,
so this is
maybe next week.
This is the 970A motherboard he was talking about when he said weak power delivery. And yeah, it does seem like this motherboard was a little under-engineered when it came to the actual power delivery of the VRMs up in here. You can see that we don't have a lot of chokes going on. We've only got, we got the 8-pin power delivery on there. But there also seems to be a little bit of under-designed cooling going on here as well. You've got the chokes, which are the red things. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that even non-overclocking this guy with an 8350 or something that draws 125 watts of power is exceeding the power delivery capabilities of this motherboard, which is kind of surprising because the only time I saw that really being an issue was when AM3 or AM3 Plus was newer, and it was backwards compatible with AM3 CPUs, but AM3 Plus CPUs weren't backwards compatible with a lot of the motherboards because they had, I believe it was a 90 watt limit. That hadn't been the case for quite a few years, and then suddenly this is happening. So yeah, if you guys are looking at building an AMD system and you want to overclock and you're going to do something like an 8350, you might want to stay away from the 970A Crate Edition from MSI. So there's your public statement that he was asking me to tell you guys about.
Public
He's
service announcement.
He's absolutely right.
Your flash review.
Yeah.
We have 1 minute remaining. Jay, is there anything you would like to say to end your epic tech talk this week?
Thank you for 508,477 or whatever it is.
You're balling, bro. Prepare for a whole new level of ego, though. You hit that 500K and it changes a man.
The giveaway does end on the 22nd, and like I said, it's being done through Gleam. Gleam is just the easiest way to manage this. Not to mention, Gleam also bypasses some of the legalities of doing online giveaway on YouTube. Believe it or not, there's laws about what you can and can't give away and how you give it away.
There is.
So for everyone who kind of complains about the way I'm going about it, sorry. But that's just the way it is. We're at 99.9 thousand Twitter followers. Can we get that last 100 tonight? That'd be neat. Maybe I'll do a Twitter giveaway.
Maybe.
I'll never get the blue check mark because I see no point in putting my
I
real name
cannot
up there.
believe how much your Twitter took off. I honestly...
Well, that was the entry for the giveaway. Smart.
Oh, wow. Just this last giveaway, you've grown that much? Like, what'd you come up
Well,
from?
it started at like 86,000.
Still, though, geez, I need to do more giveaways. I'm sorry, guys. I need to do more giveaways.
But do me a favor. When you do the giveaway next time, don't do your giveaway to grow your Twitter on Twitter. Think about that.
That
You gave away those. You gave away those those Xbox Live codes, but you like advertised it on Twitter to enter by making sure you follow on Twitter.
No, I said you had to retweet it so that people that didn't know I existed would see it and then they follow me.
Tap into your audience you've already got, dude.
I know. I need to
we'll do Jay's giveaway tips.
Come on over to Twitter and get your Xbox Live codes.
Did you ever give those away?
I gave one away. I need to give another one away, though. I forgot. I'm not very good at this whole giveaway thing.
I was doing this giveaway and I forgot. All right, guys.
Hey, I'm popular because I'm different or stupid or something. I don't know.
You're something, all right. All right,
I'm
guys.
slow. I was a lot smarter last year, guys. I promise.
You were a lot sharper.
This is very true.
Ding dong. What was that? All right.
Oh, pizza.
All right, guys. Jerry, anything you want to say as we get out of here? Follow Jerry on Twitter, guys.
Follow him so you can at least try to get a Microsoft.
Yeah, remember that thing I said about bridge building? It's an important life
Jerry
lesson.
will always be a cocksucker. We will
Always be a cocksucker. See ya!
All right, guys. There's the intro. You got a big mouth.
Boots ain't cats. Boots
Boots
ain't cats. Feet coconut monkey.
What?
I said feet coconut monkey. You're supposed to jump in, dude. Be like, come on.
My bad.
That's just
Well,
the black screen
that
now.
ship's ahead.
And it's done.
Where's the stop button? I need to stop this thing. Wait. All right, bye, guys.